InstaClass. Welcome to InstaClass by Amity Online. This is Lokesh Raj, your host today. I've been doing this InstaClass for past 3 times, and today's topic is very interesting and very important as well. How do you go ahead with an idea and how do you convert into a successful business startup? As always, as I keep coming up with the ideas and as I keep speaking topics, you can always type in your comments. I will always go through the comments and I can always respond. So, what's an idea? Today we are looking at businesses which never existed before. Probably when I was born, we never had Google, we never had Facebook, we never had Microsoft. Now we have so many businesses which are in existence and which were never in thought itself at that point of time. And tomorrow, as we speak, new businesses are being added. And if you think about them, all these businesses, before they were actually coming into existence, they were once nothing but a simple idea. If you take your Uber, Ola, Zomato, Swiggy, everything came in because we had proliferation of internet thanks to Geo and 4G uh, idea of the government. And at the same time, we also had several biggies already existing: Google, Facebook, Yahoo, so many existing companies. These were possible because of Microsoft. So Amazon, Apple, everything happened because of Microsoft. And Microsoft happened because of IBM, because of Xerox. So all these ideas happened as and when technology went into from one level to the next level. Today we are in a position where we have businesses that can run entirely online. We have there are two kinds of business which you might be aware. They are: number one will be your startup business, which is the topic today, and then there are businesses which are traditional. They are not tech driven, they are tech enabled. uh, you have kirana stores, you have manufacturing companies, you still have service companies. All these do exist, but they are here to provide a service, they are here to provide a product. So these traditional businesses have tech inbuilt in their business. But how about the new set of businesses that we are speaking about? Facebook, Uber, Ola, and Twitter, and Swiggy, Zomato, all these businesses are actually a figment of imagination brought into existence thanks to internet. They are not only tech enabled, they are tech driven. So these kind of entities are we call startups. And as soon as we know that these kind of businesses can exist and function without having a big grand office, without having a big factory, without having huge staff involved. So how do we do that? How do we go ahead, with converting our ideas into successful startup? The first step would be to have an idea. I had somebody who asked me, can you tell me what is the successful idea right now so that I will invest in that business? So if you think that somebody else would have come up with some idea and you can go and invest without having knowledge about the business, then for sure it is going to be a failure. There are several stages in a startup becoming a successful company, and finally we have an exit with an IPO. As we speak today, we have um, on today's newspaper, if you had watched out, on the first page I saw East My Trip. It was a successful startup that has converted itself into an IPO. Earlier, if you had tracked, Zomato, and right now in the talks, Paytm. All these were companies which we came to know only in the recent years, and now they are successful companies, and they have hit the goal, which is IPO. So, what is the process involved in making your idea into a startup, and how do you spot a good idea? What are bad ideas? What are really great ideas? When it comes to ideas, the ideas hit you when you never expect them. When you are in a queue, you are standing some there, of course you should not use your phone. You are thinking something and suddenly an idea hits. You are observing the nature, there is an idea. Sometimes people say their best ideas come when they are in the shower or in the potty. So these ideas are those that have worked as a business. So how do you identify that this idea is good idea? Firstly, let us understand what is not a good idea, what is a bad idea, so that we will understand what is a great idea. When you start a business, the underlying goal of every business is to be profitable. There should be a demand. If you have a demand, if you have identified a problem, probably you are yourself affected by a problem and you want a solution for that. Probably you are scratching your own itch. If that is the case, you have identified a good solution. If you have identified an issue and for which there is tremendous traction, as we call in startup world, tremendous traction. So many people are interested in your product. So which means that your product will be profitable. And if it is going to be profitable, then it is a better idea. And of course, we are coming to something called great idea. Great ideas are those ideas which people have never heard about. These are the ideas which are coming into existence just now. Peter Thiel would say from 0 to 1. There was no such business. Today there is such business because of that idea. And once you go from 0 to 1, from 1 to many will automatically happen. And there are certain industries where it cannot go beyond because of the size of the investment, like telecom. You might be seeing that it is a restricted industry where very few players are there, huge investment is involved, and there is also try. So all these regulatory norms is involved, so it is difficult to enter and also difficult to exit as well. At the same time, there are certain businesses wherein anybody can enter into, and at the same time they can grow like anything, which is your startup. So how do we do that? Step one is to come up with a great idea. Great idea, as I've already said, it's something totally new. And speaking of new, I have heard some crazy ideas when I have been in touch with so many entrepreneurs, who so many wannabe entrepreneurs, which were quite crazy and which never worked out. For example, there was a guy who wanted to invest in a particular firm, which was an e-commerce firm. So this e-commerce firm he was planning, it's the next level of Amazon, the next level of Flipkart. He was saying then. At the time, there was no Swiggy Mart, there was no Geo Mart. He was saying that I will go ahead and distribute provisions to everybody. And at the time there was Big Basket and Grofers, and I clearly warned him that it was not possible with uh, improper financial plan. He entered into the business and he could not continue the business, he had to exit it. And there was a guy who came up with his own version of task management, to-do list. How do you manage tasks? Do it in Excel. So he also made a simple mistake of not having proper UI, not having proper UX design. UI is user interface, UX is user experience. So he did not have that. Not everyone is aware of Excel. So, and also he did not think about his competition. So once again, poor analysis of competition is coming into picture. And there was this guy who was actually trying to link the temples. So he was saying that I will link temples. I was asking him why he was doing that. He said temple is going to give me prasad at this time. I should know that prasad timing. I was thinking, what do you do with the prasad timings? No, no. I once went in with my family. They said, senior citizen, I don't want to name the temple, senior citizen queue is here. But the senior citizen ticket counter is 1 kilometer away. So how would they know when they start at the senior citizen queue? So I was asking him one question, whether mapping a temple is legal, whether will it not lead to some destruction if it comes in the hands of terrorists. So he did not knew the legal implications of it. So like that, there are several other stories which are crazy business ideas and which never worked in the first place. So you need to have a business idea and you need to identify the market for it. Friends, when I say market, people think it the wrong way. People say that I will have a product and then I will go for a market. This is what in startup world it is called as product market fit. Okay, but actually I would say market product fit. What is market product fit? So there is a market and I will modify my product in accordance with the requirements of the market. It's not that this is my product, I will go and sell to the market. In the first case, you are actually thinking from the customer's perspective and you are modifying your product as per the needs of the customer, and obviously the customer will be interested in buying the product. But if you are saying that my product is this, you have to buy because there is a market, I'm going and selling my product, so it's not going to work. So you have to think the other way around. You should not just think whether my product can be sold, or you have to think what can I help the market with, what are the problems that the market is facing, how do I help the market. That is the way you start with. And people are thinking like they have to be pakka, and as soon as they are coming up with an idea they will say that I will have this benefit, that benefit, so many things saddled, and they make one jumbo product which is not practically viable. In fact, in startup lingos we have something called minimum viable product. What is this minimum viable product? In minimum viable product, you start with a business idea and you start with the basic version of it. Let's say you have a cycle, you start with only a basic seat, handlebar, wheels, everything, no carrier, etc., no mud guard, no chain guard, nothing like that. So all that is the basic. So when people see the cycle, yeah, cycle, I want cycle, as soon as you realize people will need one carrier, you can add it. So like that, you keep adding functions. When Amazon started, they were just a book distributing company. They identified that people were settled far away from the city and far away town. If they are situated, they had to come to the city to buy a book. So they played in between them as a initially it was like a delivery person. It was like a delivery person, and they were doing that, and slowly they built on the products and they became profitable. And likewise Swiggy, when they came, we were thinking that they were only into your food. Now they are into provision, they are into supermarket, now they are into couriering, Swiggy Genie. Likewise Uber, Ola, when they came, we never thought they will come up with so many varieties of cars, and they will come up with this rental. all that was uh, all that was happening because uh, these businesses started off with a minimum viable product and then they went on to become successful. Likewise, if you start a business, there are several stages. You come up with an idea, you identify the targetable, target addressable market (TAM), and then what is your market target, market share target, and then you do the market study, you do the customer study, and then you go ahead and do a testing. You come up with a business plan, you come up with a business model, you come up with the value canvas, and then you go ahead and discuss with an investor, probably seed funding, you can get from your friends, families, and then you can go ahead with VCs, stage one CDA funding, seed B, seed C, and then finally to IPO. So like this, the entire stage is set if you are coming up with a good idea. So with that, I would like to conclude the session. If you have some questions, please do post on the chat so that I can answer. Yeah, looks like there are no questions. I would like to conclude this session. Thank you for being with us in this Insta class. Have a nice day.